For 8 months, Maya worked for a director named Jeff. Jeff was charismatic in interviews, great in presentations. Everyone liked him. But here's what Maya experienced: Jeff would commit to things in meetings. "I'll get you that budget approval by Friday. I'll talk to the VP about your promotion. I'll handle that client issue." And then, nothing. No follow-up. No update. No explanation. When Maya would ask about it, "Oh yeah, I'm working on it. Things are just crazy right now." Meanwhile, when something went wrong on the team, Jeff would tell his boss. The team didn't execute. But when something went right, "We crushed that project." People don't quit jobs. They quit accountability gaps. They quit leaders who don't follow through. They quit leaders who avoid hard conversations. They quit leaders who blame down and praise up. And when accountability disappears at the top, the entire organization feels it. Let's talk about what leadership accountability really looks like and what happens when it's missing. Here's what Maya needed from Jeff: not perfection, not hero leadership. She just needed clarity. Some leaders think accountability means being harsh. Others think it means micromanaging. Most avoid it altogether because they don't want to be uncomfortable. But accountability isn't punishment. Accountability is clarity. It's the ability to say, "Here's what we agreed to. Here's what happened. Here's what needs to change." If Jeff had just said, "Maya, I dropped the ball on the budget approval. Let me get that to you by Tuesday," that would have been enough. But when leaders avoid that clarity, the team pays the price. When Jeff avoided accountability, it didn't stay contained. It spread. Maya's teammates stopped proposing ideas because Jeff never followed through on supporting them. Another team member started job searching because she couldn't trust anything Jeff said. A junior employee got blamed for a project delay that was actually caused by Jeff missing a client deadline. Confusion, resentment, burnout, turnover. One leader who refuses to take responsibility can create a disengaged team, a toxic culture, a revolving door of talent, and a workforce that stops trusting the organization. This is why culture breaks quietly, not because of one big event, but because of 1,000 small avoidances. Now, before we go further, let me say something to the leaders watching this. Most of you aren't Jeff. You're not malicious. You're not trying to harm your team. But maybe you've avoided a hard conversation. Maybe you've dropped a commitment because you were overwhelmed. Maybe you've deflected blame because you were afraid of looking weak. I get it. No one teaches you how to hold yourself accountable. You're managing up, managing down, managing laterally, and somewhere in that chaos, you lose track. But here's what you need to know: your team doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be honest. They need you to own your impact. They need you to follow through, or at least explain when you can't. So let me show you what that actually looks like. Let me show you the difference between a leader with accountability and one without. Scenario 1: a project misses a deadline. Jeff's response: the team didn't execute. We need to talk about performance issues. An accountable leader's response: we missed the deadline. Part of that's on me, I didn't check in on blockers early enough. Let's do a post-mortem and figure out what we need to adjust. Notice the difference. The accountable leader owns their part. They don't deflect. They don't blame. They repair. Scenario 2: a commitment gets dropped. Jeff's response: yeah, I'm still working on that. Things are just crazy. An accountable leader's response: I said I'd get you that answer by Friday. I didn't. My bad. I'll have it to you by Tuesday. If I miss that, I'll tell you why before the deadline. Accountability is about follow-through. And when you can't follow through, it's about transparent communication. Scenario 3, a mistake gets made. Jeff's response, says nothing. Pretends it didn't happen. Moves on. An accountable leader's response, I made the wrong call on that strategy. It cost us time and momentum. Here's what I'm learning from it, and here's how I'll approach it differently next time. When leaders make mistakes, and they acknowledge it, repair it, and move forward. This is what builds trust. This is what builds culture. This is what keeps people. Now, back to Maya. After 8 months with Jeff, she finally quit. But before she left, I wish she'd known these things. 1. Document everything. Maya should have been keeping a record. Not to weaponize but to create clarity for herself. Jeff committed to X on this date. It didn't happen. I followed up on this date. This protects you if things escalate. And it helps you see patterns instead of isolated incidents. 2. Set boundaries. Your leader's lack of clarity cannot become your lack of peace. If your leader drops commitments, you're allowed to say, I need a clear answer by Friday. If that timeline doesn't work, let me know now so I can plan accordingly. You're not being difficult. You're being clear. 3. Build microcultures. Even if your leader is chaotic, you and your peers can still support each other. Maya's team started a weekly check-in without Jeff just to stay aligned and support each other. You can't fix the whole organization, but you can create pockets of stability. 4. Know when to exit. Maya stayed 8 months too long. She kept thinking maybe it'll get better. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. But if your leader consistently avoids accountability, and it's affecting your health, your confidence, or your career growth, leaving isn't quitting. Leaving is choosing yourself. If you're a leader watching this, and you recognize yourself in any of this, first, take a breath. Accountability isn't a skill you're born with. It's a practice. A discipline. A choice. Here's how you start. This week, in your next one-on-one, say this, I said I'd get you X. I didn't. That's on me. Here's when you'll have it. That's it. 10 seconds. Next, when something goes wrong, ask yourself, what part of this is my responsibility? Not all of it. Just your part. Own that part out loud. Finally, start doing post-mortems. After a project, after a mistake, after a conflict, ask, what went well? What didn't? What's my part in that? Culture isn't built in all-hands meetings. It's built in the follow-through. It's built in hard conversations. It's built in the willingness to own your impact. Maya eventually found a new leader. Someone who said what they meant and meant what they said. Someone who owned their mistakes and celebrated the team's wins. She told me, I didn't realize how much energy I was spending just trying to figure out what was real. You deserve leadership that doesn't make you question reality. You deserve leadership that communicates clearly. You deserve leadership that takes responsibility. And if you're a leader yourself, you have the power to break the cycle. When leaders get accountability right, everything else gets easier. Subscribe for more content like this, content that helps you navigate broken systems and build better ones. And tell me in the comments, what's the biggest accountability gap you've seen in your workplace? I'm reading every single one. You're not a line item. You're the talent.